Welcome back to Real Love Scenario.
Hello.
Real Love Scenario.
Real Love Scenario.
It's still hot. Still hot.
We just gonna start with a weather check at the top of every episode. It's still hot, people. Still summertime. Yes, it is.
95.
Wow. And I still don't have braids.
I want to send a prayer up for the people in the southern region of the country, Texas, Florida. Like, I know y'all probably
cooking, baby, cooking,
sizzling.
Literally. Actually, who I want to send a prayer up for is the old houses with the grandmom that still got the plastic on the chair and she don't have no air conditioning
sticking
system.
to it.
Yeah, that's the ones I'm sending a prayer up for. You know, I saw a meme recently where it was like, when I go to visit my grandparents in the summer, I don't stay long because they don't have HVAC.
It's crazy how we all have this shared experience of like plastic furniture.
Yep.
The HVAC.
It's not a thing. It's either window units or fans.
While she's sitting there watching her stories or judge, whatever.
Sweating bullets. Yes, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
And don't you touch that thermometer. the thermostat.
Yeah.
Don't you touch that thermostat.
Not in my house. I pay the bills around here. Anywho, welcome back to another episode of Real Love Scenario. Shall we get into?
Yes, let's get into
it. All right. It says that this is long. This is from Anonymous. Hi, Dre and Rhonda. I'm not going to lie. This one is long and complicated. We're ready. I'm reaching out because I seem to be getting conflicting advice on my situation. I've been dating my current boyfriend for about 7 months. He has 2 children that I've come to love dearly. Him and the kids' mother have been broken up since the kids were a couple months old, and they do a great job at co-parenting. I say this to say, I'm not worried about that relationship affecting ours in any way. Here's where the problem lies. Dun, dun, dun. My boyfriend has an ex, not the mother of his kids, that he dated on and off for several years prior to us meeting. When we met, they had been broken up for about a year. She was in the kids' lives since they were 1. They are 5 now. So they naturally developed a strong bond. The problem that I'm having is that she is in constant communication with the kids, which sometimes leads to communication with my boyfriend. Reminiscing on old times. Okay. My boyfriend doesn't want to cut all communication for the kids' sake because they got so attached. I'm not a parent, but in my opinion, it will become confusing for the kids to have her and myself in their lives. Not to mention, it makes me super uncomfortable. My view is that the communication needs to be cut off while the kids are still young, but I also don't want to be controlling and force a situation. My boyfriend and I have been talking seriously about our future, marriage, kids, etc. I see us having a great future together and creating our own family, but sometimes I wonder if she's always going to be a factor in our lives. We've had several conversations and arguments about her, and I don't want to enter into a marriage with this looming over us. I'm just worried that she is slowly trying to work her way back into his life. I trust him and don't think he would ever do anything to hurt me, but I can't help but be concerned every time I hear her name brought up in a conversation. Am I overreacting, or should I be more stern about my feelings and ask him to cut ties?
That is...
I need a drink of water.
That's a good one.
Damn.
That's a good one. It's not the baby mama drama.
It's the ex-girlfriend,
stepmama drama.
Yes. Thanks for writing in, Anonymous.
Yeah, thank you for writing in. I know we answer and give our advice on this situation towards the end.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wait to that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna ask you this question.
Because it is like about to bust out.
Yeah, I wanna
but go.
There's so much to this.
It is.
But I'll ask you this. If an ex formed a relationship with a child, should they be able to continue that relationship with that child?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think that it depends on the age of the child at the time of the relationship severing.
Something's telling me, I don't want to interrupt, keep going, but something's telling me whenever I feel like you say it depends, you've experienced some version of this.
I have experienced some version of this. Yes, I have.
I can tell.
Yeah. I think it depends on the age of the child. If the child is too young to communicate with ex on their own without me,
yes,
or without the parent, then it's cool.
Yeah.
If the child is too young and they have to use the ex or the parent to communicate with the ex, then I feel like no. But I'm also from a place that realistically, when a relationship is done, it's kind of done. And that's why I say it depends, because like if I was married to someone for 10 years and I entered into that relationship with 2 small children, and that person became a father figure to my children for 10 years, that's like their dad.
Yeah.
Or it's like that was like their father for that time. They love him, even though I'm not in love with him anymore in our relationship. It says, so I'm putting myself in the shoes of the child that may still want a relationship with them, but I'm also not going to let that, and I pray that it wouldn't, make things complicated in my new relationship. I'm trying to go into my new relationship with as little complication as possible. So too young, I don't know about that. Older, don't really need me involved. Cool. But what I don't like about this situation is they are arguing about her. That to me says that it's too far. So that's really my answer. Like if it gets complicated, like this person is doing things, they gotta go.
Yeah.
If it's not really just about the kids, you gotta go. You gotta go.
I think that I think truthfully, like you said, depends, because there's so many different situations where this could happen. Like you said, if you're with somebody for 10 years and they've been around your kid and stuff like that, then I guess, but I think generally the answer is like, no, like why? You're not this child's mother or father. You don't have a reason or an obligation necessary to be in this kid's life. And then as a parent, I have the responsibility and the ability to say who I want my children to be around.
Right.
So I can only see that having an ex around, your kids could become problematic, even if currently you're not dating someone. In the future, if you're dating someone, that can become very problematic.
Yes. And when I dealt with it, I've dealt with it on both sides of the age spectrum. So like I have an ex who, when we met, his kids were adults, young adults. I had a great relationship with them. We were together. We lived together. We were together for almost 5 years.
I feel like that's the best if you dating somebody. And now I know for those who watching, that's somebody who's older, of course.
Right.
But it's kind of like having no kids in a sense.
It's kind of like having no kids.
Yeah, it's kind of like having no kids when you have kids who are like way older. Because I remember my friend said that, and he was like, I have the kids like 3, 4, I don't know. But if they're like 16, like,
because I feel like by that time they're very clear on who their parents are. They know who their parental units are. It's not that mom and dad, now that they're not together anymore, they're going to marry people. Those people are going to be become their step parents, right? But you're old enough to be like clear on like, I may or may not get super close to you. I know who my parents are, everything's straight. But I had that situation where they were adults, and when we broke up, I really did not maintain my relationship with them. They didn't maintain their relationship with me. But today, literally to this day, if I reached out to either of them, we would talk, everything would be fine. But then I've had guys where I dated them, I got relatively close to their kids, and when we broke up, it was just same. Like, I loved them. I loved his children, but I just need to be out of the way because I don't want to confuse the kids. I just don't. And I know we're going to give the answers later, but they're 5. Do you remember a lot about your life when you were 5 years old?
One is when they met her, I think, right?
They met the ex at 1. They are now 5 years old.
That's what I'm saying. So I agree with that. That was going to be my thought. It's like a lot of times, and I would say this just in general when it comes to anything dealing with kids, whether that's parents choosing to stay in a relationship because of a kid, is that a lot of people look at it from their perspective of what they feel like is best for the kid, but don't ever really think of like maybe even asking people who grew up in that situation and ask them how did that affect them, because they think like the kid's like, oh yeah, the best thing for the kid is mom and dad being in the same house. But it's like, if you ever had a kid who grew up that way in a dysfunctional house, they'll tell you that they rather have seen them apart. Yeah. Or if you grew up with a kid who parents were divorced ever since they could remember, they'll tell you like, that's just all I remember. So it was the norm. I didn't think anything of it.
So true, Dre.
And it's like, you just think from the kids, like if you actually, instead of thinking like, oh, this is what's best for the kid, which you have to do to a certain extent, also thinking of like somebody who's grown up in that type of environment, how it affected them. And it's like in that, like you just said, I feel like if you were to ask somebody who grew up in that environment, they'd be like, when I was 5, like I have a cousin, I was just talking to my aunt yesterday, I had a cousin who I used to play with all the time. He was my big cousin. And when I was younger, I told her yesterday, she was telling me about, I was like, if he walked in here, I would not know what he looked like at all. I would not be able to identify him, like, because I was a kid. I don't.
Yeah. I think you can only really remember highly traumatic or highly special things at that young of an age.
And it's like snapshots. I don't even think it's full, like, if full we're going, like full video, like full memory. It's like snapshots, like moments, you know? And I agree with you. Is at that age, you don't remember.
It's like if this lady gets out of the picture today, them kids aren't going to be like, for a little while, I think they may, depending on how often they see her, they might be like, where's Miss So-and-so? But come on, by the time they turn 6, they are not going to be asking for this woman. They're not. So, it's highly dependent. And I think to me, it really only makes sense if the step parent assumed parental responsibility, true parental responsibility, like y'all were married or y'all were living as like a family for an extended period of time, and their actual parent isn't there. They're not in the picture. So this is if in this situation, this is the only mom I know. Like if the mother really was not in the picture, to take that away from a child, yes, I think that's not fair, and you need to be considerate.
I just wonder, so have you ever been in a situation with like a younger kid that you feel like you helped like raise to a certain extent or provided parental guidance in some way?
Not that was my ex, not that was my man's child.
Not that is, okay. No. So, because I wonder, so I have mixed feelings about this because I know friends who ended up dating and going really far in a relationship with people they should not have been with because they fell in love with the person's kids.
Like they stayed for somebody else's kids? Like
they wanted to leave the relationship, but they loved the kid. Like, you know, in a sense.
Oh, wow.
But then also I'm like, all right, let's say you do 2-3 year relationship with somebody, right? And you do, after year 1, they introduce you to the kid and y'all do stuff. Y'all go to amusement parks. Y'all like, you actually feel like family vibes. Is it messed up to when you cut the person off to be like, F that kid too, basically? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like is that, no, like, is that mentally, can you do that? Like, just be like, I'm done with this person, F that kid too, in a sense.
Somebody's going to say that that's so messed up because the kids are innocent, but I just feel like
you kind of got to, right?
You have to cut the lines. To me, it's just easier that way. Now, is it possible? Does beauty come from these situations? Of course they do. Absolutely. But I just think it requires everybody to be so exceptionally mature and really focused on the kids. Like the best co-parenting situations are 2 people who really prioritize the well-being of the child. They don't get into the minutia of what the other person has going on in their lives or if they're dating anybody new. These things don't even come up unless it's like, hey, I've been dating someone for 8 months. I want to introduce them to our child. But I want to introduce them to you first. To me, that's the only time. And if that person's like, well, I don't know about that. Again, you're still not in a place where you're prioritizing the well-being of the kid. So if it's truly a situation where keeping things like this makes for a better well-being for the child, then cool. But I can't fathom that is this situation, especially with children so incredibly young who have their mother.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, so what could happen that I think is where you fall into this issue is that you're dating somebody, you realize the relationship isn't necessarily what you wanted. However, you are not moving forward with anybody new, but you still feel like you could use the assistance that the person was giving you, whether they would pick them up from school, whether they would, make them lunch or bring them or take them places and stuff like that. You feel like you could still utilize that help. And because you don't have a new relationship, it's not necessarily inappropriate or disrespecting something that you're currently in. You're saying we're not romantically whatever, but this person doesn't mind doing it because they love the kids and want to spend time with them. You don't mind doing it because you could use the help. So then you start to create this relationship. But then now when you're ready to get into something new, then it's like, I got to explain to this person, this is my ex, but she picks him up from school every Thursday because I, have to do this.
And the thing is, do you though? Do you have to explain that they're the ex? And this is probably going to sound like deceitful.
That's, yes. You have to do that.
You and I are friends. If I had a child and me and the dad aren't together and like I got this new job and for the next 4 weeks, I'm not going to be able to pick them up on Thursdays from daycare. And I ask you to do it because I know that you're in that area and you're free on Thursdays. You're my friend. You're not my ex. You're doing it. You're helping me look out for my kid.
Yes.
Because you're my friend and you love my child. 9 times out of 10, you love my child. Somebody's going to argue the fact that what's the real difference here?
It's a huge difference.
I mean, I get it's a difference from the relationship standpoint. The relationship that I had with my ex is someone that I used to be romantically involved in with. But if I'm not anymore, what's the problem?
Your partner doesn't know this person. Okay. Right? I'm supposed to be becoming a part of your life. And your kid is a huge part of your life. So that can possibly impact their perception of me and view of me. But also, I think the biggest thing is that regardless of a kid situation, you can't put your partner in a position of where they could look dumb or stupid. So you have to make them aware if they're ever in their presence, I think, or are interacting constantly with somebody that you used to date or somebody that you were involved with. Because
but I just feel like it heightens the person's bad feelings about it.
Well, that's the thing is that, like, all right, let's say you don't, right? It's going to come out some way, shape, or form. Yes. So do you want to deal with it when you've been introducing this person as your friend for 6 months, and then your person that you with find out that you actually dated this person and they're your ex, and then they gotta be like, so 6 months went by and you didn't tell me?
You didn't think you should tell me that?
You didn't think that was important?
And it's probably like, no, I didn't think it was important to tell you because I knew that you would make it more than what it is. This person is nothing but a part of my child's village.
And you know how people say, you didn't even give me the chance to react to it. Like, I wouldn't have reacted in that way if you would have just told me. But now that you waited, it seems like you're hiding something from me.
I agree with that. But I just wanted to argue that point that like some people might opt to not say that I used to, even if it's like somebody that you really used to date, but then y'all became friends and now you in a whole new situation. This is really somebody you used to date, but y'all don't date anymore. When you get them in that mixed situation, you may be hesitant to be like, my homegirl Joanne, this is my homegirl Joanne. You may be hesitant to be like, this is my ex Joanne, because instantly a woman's mind or a man's mind is going to change as soon as you say, this is my ex. Now it's like, well, why are they here? Why are they around? What's going on? Why are they still in your life? Why aren't you done with them? Why didn't you cut them off? When if I just said this is my homegirl Joanne, you would not have any of those questions. You'd be like, well, that's his friend. Like, whatever. What can I really do about it? So knowledge is definitely power, but I'm trying to envision and make it make sense for really, I guess, both sides of it. If I feel like somebody's in my life and they are part of my child's village, and I trust them and they trust me, and I know that I don't want anything from them and I know they don't want anything from me, they're a part of my child's village. Like, that's just it.
So let me ask you this in this situation. It's a question I'm just coming off. In those moments, do you think it's fair if you find somebody new or have somebody new and they are willing to say, okay, like I can start picking them up on Thursdays. Like they're saying I can replace this chore that this person is doing. So there's no longer a need for them. Do you think it's fair to just cut that past person off, even though they've been there helping and supporting and stuff like that? Like cut them off because you're at your new thing? because you have your new thing, you know, your new person.
Something about that I don't like. It's something about that. To me, the person should get cut off if they are exhibiting behaviors that deviate away from their focus being about the well-being of the child. If they are only going to pick my kid up every Thursday because they still have feelings for me, they love my kids, but they actually still have feelings for me. They're still hopeful that we'll be able to be together again and we can bring our family back together. Then they should get cut off for that. They should get cut off for that. But again, if they are a part of my child's village, it's difficult. It's difficult. I think I would want to know, is there an insecurity that I am not paying attention to with my partner so that they are more comfortable with this situation? Because instantly when your exes are still around for whatever reason, whether it's for kids or they're really close to your parent or whatever, for those of you that like this situation, because again, it's not my preference.
Yes.
But when that person is still around and they really are just like, y'all aren't together, again, that person that you're now dating has this insecurity because something in them says there is no way that y'all can really just be friends. Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying when you say, I want this person out of the picture, because there is no way that something might not happen. When the truth is, it could happen with anybody. It could really, so it's not a lot you can do to circumvent it. He could say, yeah, okay, I'll remove this person from my kids' lives. And he could still be sleeping with her. Yeah. Just because she picking him up on Thursdays don't mean he not busting her down.
That's true. I mean, I just think that, so I'm mixed on that, because I feel like if you are assuming a parental role, it's very hard to parent if there's a whole bunch of cooks in the kitchen. In a sense,
it's hard to do anything when it's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, if this person took on a parental role and the kids see him in that way, but then I'm now taking on a parental role, but I'm actually living with you and living with them, and I need them to do stuff. I need them to respect me. I need them to, so it's hard to, I don't, having the comparison of this person to that person, or like, them running to the other girl, or like, even them being able to say, we like so and so better, and like, it's just it's I don't know, it's
very tricky. It's very tricky, but I keep thinking about, like, I have goddaughters.
Yes.
2 of which I feel are like, I've been involved in their lives to the point where I feel like I'm not a mom, but yes, I am their godmom, but I feel like I'm a close part of their village.
Yeah.
So things are going on at home. Like, my sister is calling me and being like, she did this. You need to talk to her, like, because I'm about to kill her. Basically, that type of vibe. I'm a part of that village. I am not her mom. I am not her dad. And I'm a family member, I'm an extension. I'm a part of the village. And then I'm getting on that phone being like, what are you doing? Because I'm in alignment with the parent.
Yeah, I think that's important. It's to respecting the hierarchy.
Yes.
Because even if they come to you, you be like, what'd your mom say?
Correct. Yes.
What'd your dad say?
Yeah. Did you talk to your mother about this? Like I had my goddaughter will call me, my goddaughter Bella, who's 10. She'll call me like, can I come over? And I'm like, did you ask your mother? Like, I could say yes or no, but you need to check with your mom. Again, it's all about the behaviors of the village. Because even if my brother starts acting weird with my kid or going against what I want my child to do, I'm going to have a problem with my brother. And I may have to remove my own brother from my child's village because they're not operating in a space that I think is best for the well-being of the kid. So to me, that should be the reason why you're removing the person. I would like to see you, maybe, if this is important to the children and it really, really matters, you would have to cultivate an environment where it can all work and it's not confusing and it's harmonious and it feels good. It sounds like she has a good relationship with the mom, the actual mother.
Yeah.
So why can't she have a good relationship with the stepmom? That tells, the ex, who kind of is the stepmom, seemingly. If she can't have a good relationship with her, she got to go. If it's the stepmom's problem.
You jumping the gun.
I'm sorry. Because I told y'all it was busting out of me. Because that really be the problem, even when it's the biological parents.
Well, let me ask you this. How early should you, or when should you introduce your kids to a significant other if you're dating somebody? Like, when do you think is the appropriate time to introduce children to the person that you're dating?
I feel like you should do that when you believe that this person is going to be a constant in your life, therefore subsequently a constant in your child's life. If you're not sure about that yet, if you're still just trying to like figure it out, I don't know. I think that might be too early. But I also think if we're doing it in a measurement of time, like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I can't fathom that you would have a good sense of that within the first 3 months of dating somebody. So I feel like maybe 6 months or later. But kids are just so highly impressionable. Like we're talking children.
Yeah, children.
Children. Sure. They're highly impressionable. And so I would just be cognizant of that if they're young, that you don't want to do this if you really don't know. And also don't, like I've heard of people like, I want to see how they are with kids. So you're using your children
as an experiment.
No, let's just go maybe somewhere else. I don't know, or ask really good questions about parenting. What do you think?
I agree. I think that, let's say marriage is your goal.
Yeah.
You need to know that that's going to be the person that, as much as you can, that you're going to marry before you introduce them to your children. Excuse me. And I say this speaking from the child's perspective. Like my mom got remarried. The only person I ever met that she dated that I could really remember, there was one dude in South Carolina, and she was actually engaged to him, I think. And that didn't end up working out, but she was engaged to him. And then my stepdad. Those are the only two. So it was like, that was the only time I've ever gotten introduced to. And I like that because it's like this person that you introduced me to, who I'm talking to, who's acting like a dad to me, ended up being my dad in a sense. Yeah. So I think that's, you have to know like this is a forever person, or the possibility of being a forever person. Because like you said, kids are impressionable. Like kids take in things, they see things.
They latch on to people.
But then also you got to think of how your kid will start to look at you if you keep introducing them to all these people.
Yeah.
And these people are gone one second, gone another second. And I don't like when people give people that, like they think it's cute. It's like playing house almost. They give somebody a parental role or responsibility so early in like of dating or in a relationship. And it's like, why are you, this person your kid don't even really know this person. They don't even really know your kid. But you have this person picking up your kid all the time, or like watching them. And like, you don't know this person.
You don't. Yeah, I definitely don't like that. I just feel like you said, it should be like, you should be pretty sure that you want to really be with this person, but that's just for introducing them and having them around them occasionally. Because again, we're talking about, you meet someone and you're dating them, and then you're in a committed relationship and you're still figuring out each other. You don't necessarily live together yet, so you don't even see them every day. So it's like, you just feel comfortable bringing your children around them, not necessarily having them care for your child. You're just comfortable with, let's go out to the park on Saturday. I'm going to bring my son and we're going to have a picnic. Now you're at that place, but not like, won't y'all go and blah, 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 blah. That might be a whole nother amount of time before you feel comfortable just really leaving your kid in this person's care. Those are two different experiences. I think introductions and assuming parental responsibilities or village responsibilities, two different like benchmarks, if you will. Like there you get to a place where it's like, this is kind of my kid too. Not my kid, but I'm just that comfortable with them.
And I think, like you said, it ranges between different ages on how the introductions work. Like you said, 1 or 2, it's like, how many people probably picked me up when I was little. And,
like, remember that?
Don't remember that. You don't remember none of that. Like, no. So it kind of like, even if you introduce somebody to somebody that early, it's like, they ain't gonna remember that person. No. Anyways, but like 6, 7 years old or something like that, even when you have the initial introduction, I think it's more appropriate to say, hey, this is my friend, whatever. It's not introducing this as a relationship quite yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
kids makes things so complicated, and this is why some people really are like, I'm not dating people with children, because it's a responsibility, because you have to be understanding of that person's responsibility.
What's your take on that?
I think you should date whoever you prefer. Like
your take, how do you feel?
I'll date someone with kids. I will, but it's a certain number that we can't go past. More importantly, a certain number of moms that we cannot go past. Like preferably no more than 2 mothers. Most preferably 1. But if you're going to have multiples, preferably no more than 2 mothers and no more than 3 children. And that's, children, like under 18, they're not adults. You are still very actively involved in rearing and taking care of them. Because I feel like the more kids you have, the more time you have to invest in them, as you should, to be a good parent. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how you really find a lot of time to date and give me the attention such that I need. People can do it, but I just don't find that people do it very well when they have 5 and 6 kids with 5 women. It's just a lot. The kids live in different households. It's just a lot. You got a full ass schedule.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Did you always have this mindset even when you were younger, or did it hit like a certain point to where that then became acceptable for men to have kids?
It was not always my mindset, because when I was younger and like nobody had kids, then it was like I still would prefer a man with no kids. I really would. I just, at 38, trying to date someone that's my age or around my age or older, it's like damn near unheard of. Like it's men that have been married. They're divorced now. They had kids within their marriage. So yeah, it changed later in life. But when I was 21, 22, I did, but I definitely didn't prefer that like at all. Like there were times where I would be like, nah, you can't have no babies. Yeah. Like, nope. I want my first baby
to be your first baby.
Your first baby. And I definitely still want that. I just think it's less realistic today.
Yeah.
Much less realistic today. I feel like you are like, nah, like you would not seriously date anybody that had a child.
Oh man. I think I would.
Okay.
I never.
You'd be like a Russell Wilson type?
Could you see me being that type?
I can. Right. I definitely can.
Right.
It's either please don't have no kids, or I'm gonna just make a mine. I'm gonna give my last name, like a Steve Harvey, Russell Wilson type. Like, these my kids.
But Lori. Not Lori. What's it, Marjorie?
Right.
And Sierra, you know what I mean? It's like, if I'm making this sacrifice, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Dre, what's that about? Explain what that means.
What?
You're saying you're only going to do this for the likes of a Marjorie and a Sierra. What does that mean?
To a sense,
tell the people.
Hypothetically, of course, that we're speaking, it would have to, like, I would imagine if I was in this scenario, first the girl would be like bad,
okay,
like appearance wise,
but doesn't she have to be bad anyway?
Yes.
Okay.
People tell me I'm picky.
She got to be badder if she's coming in with kids that need your attention.
It would just have to, like, let's give a hypothetical.
All right.
Like, I'm a married man, of course. But like, say Megan Good had a kid.
Yeah.
I'll look. Hey, son.
I just can't believe that you are basing your willingness to date a woman with a child on what she looks like.
I'm saying that appearance wise, I have a high standard, I guess, from appearance just in general anyways.
Right.
We can agree on that.
Yes.
So I think that I can't imagine. I'm not saying that. I don't know. It would just have to. Of course, they would have to have everything that I would want in somebody. But they would have to also be,
It's like you can be fine and kidless, but if you have a child, because that brings you down a little bit, you got to come up in another category. So like you have to be more beautiful. No. That's what I'm hearing.
No, it's just like,
it's like if Megan Good had a baby. But
I'm just saying that I when I've thought of like would I do it, I don't think I would be against it if I met somebody who I was like, oh, okay, like they have a kid, like, whatever. But I just always picture that person being bad, I guess. when I thought if that scenario would happen. I don't know. I'm not saying that they had to be famous or celebrities, but like
right. You just feel like they have to be exceptionally beautiful.
Yeah.
In order for you to be
and
cool
I mean,
playing stepdaddy to their babies.
I mean, my wife is beautiful, so it's
Absolutely.
like
that's what I'm saying.
So it's like regardless, kid or not, that's just my standard. But
yes,
I don't think I would have been against it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would prefer to not have somebody with a kid because everybody wants to start their own family together and first kid and those experiences and things like that. However, I don't think I would have been against dating somebody who had a kid.
Yeah. There's this absolutely beautiful couple, like derailing a little bit, but they kind of sort of have a blended family. I found them on social media, and when she met him, he had a very young child. I don't even think his daughter was 1 yet. Similar to Sierra and Russell, where I think Future was 6 months or something when they met. The mother of the daughter was in a new relationship. I don't know if she was remarried, but she was I think she was remarried in a new relationship. She had a child, or she was pregnant with a child. This girl is, in his life, subsequently in the daughter's life. And through childbirthing, if I remember the story correctly, the biological mother dies. Like, she dies. The girlfriend of the father of the child, they wind up getting engaged. They wind up getting married, and she adopted the daughter. Like, they were so close. The biological mother and the girlfriend had a really, really good relationship. And I remember she even said, like, of course, just like any other relationship, we had our challenges, but I loved and respected her so much as this beautiful little girl's mother that it meant so much to me to become her mother. Like, I'm not replacing her mom because she remembers her mother. She's still very young, but she remembers her mother. They have pictures of her, so she knows, like, this is your biological mom, but now I'm your adopted mom. So it's like blended families can really...
Shout out to maturity.
That's it. And that's the only answer to this question. Like, everybody's got to be extremely mature to do this and get out of their own way if you really want to be there for the kids.
Yeah.
If it's really about the kids, please make it about the kids. Don't make it about what I'm doing on social media. Don't make it about, well, you didn't do that when we were together, because that's a thing too. Like, I've heard conversations. I've dated a lot of men with kids.
Yeah.
And I've heard the conversations go both ways, where I'm like, why are you upset that she's doing whatever she's doing online? It wasn't even anything crazy. You just don't like it. What's that got to do with your kid? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You two worrying about her personal life when her personal life, for the most part, unless she's doing things that endanger the kids, has absolutely nothing to do with you. It's none of your business.
I'm trying to think if I ever even dated anybody who had a kid.
That's why I said I feel like you would not. You wouldn't. You would prefer not to, but if you were going to do it, you would be a really stand-up guy.
I'm just trying to think. Well, the thing is that I've exited out of the dating world fairly early in my life.
Yeah.
And at that age of 21, 22, most of the people or the women that I was interacting with, my peers don't have kids.
They have kids, yeah.
And I'm trying to think if I actually dated anybody who had a child. And I don't think so.
Don't think so. Yeah.
I don't think I've dated anybody who's had a child.
I have a friend who she is, while she was in a relationship with her, and I'm telling you this, I want to know, is she right or wrong in your opinion? She was in a relationship with a guy for 7 years or so. While in that relationship, she was very close to his family, his mom, his sister, his family. They broke up. Before they broke up, though, she was given, his sister had a child, and she became the godmother of the sister's child.
Okay.
Her and him. They were named the godparents while they were in a relationship. My friend has a great relationship with the child. She loves her, like, takes her to her classes, picks her up from school. She's done that even when they were together. So when they broke up, that's her god kid. She's like, I'm going to stay in her life. They invite her to all the family functions for the child. Like, he's now in a new relationship. He's moved on. And it's been times where the new girlfriend has come to the sister and is like, So am I just gonna have to like deal with the ex like forever? Like, am I just gonna always have to see her? And she was like,
yeah,
yes, like that's my child's godmother. Like, if you can't get over that, I don't really know what to tell you. Like, that's just is what it is. They're not together. You're with him.
You're here.
What's the problem? What do you think? Do you think that my friend is wrong for like sticking around, or like she should have exited when the relationship ended?
No, you gave the person the title of being a godparent. That comes with a certain level of responsibility.
Yeah.
And also 7 years is a long time.
Yes.
To know somebody. That's not.
It's not a drop in the bucket.
Not a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
That's not a fly by night thing. That's a legitimate relationship building.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think she's wrong for that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It gets complicated and sticky, though.
Especially for you. I don't even know if you're going to be around. You asking me, is she going to be around? Are you going to be around? That's what I'll be asking.
Don't worry about yourself, queen. Worry about you. How long you been here? Okay.
She should be like, yeah, that's what the last one asked too.
Yeah.
That's what she should say.
Shade.
That's
yeah, girl, go ahead. Don't ask me no questions about who I'm going to have in my child's life. I think it makes for, obviously, at times an awkward situation. But again, it goes back to maturity. You have to be mature to be in this type of thing. Like, I ain't worrying about you. You the ex. You the godmom. That's great. Hey, girl, how you doing? Yeah, but she looks so cute today. But that's it. Don't worry about her.
All right, so we ready to answer the question for Anonymous?
Yes. She needs to know. Should she be more firm about her feelings? Because it sounds like she wants the girl.
Well, she said, is she overreacting, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think you're overreacting. I think that it's going back to our first point, the kids are so young. They will not remember that. Like, you just think as a man or as a human being, everything that you can remember, all the relationships, all the people from when you were 1 to, let's say, even 6 or 7. It's very little, very, very little. And especially, so he said that he met the girl, or the ex met the kids when they were 1 year old, right?
Yes.
And they broke up at that point. Am I right?
No. So that's when the kid's mom, they broke up while the kids were just a few months. He met the ex-girlfriend for when they were 1. And then she says they dated
for a year,
on and off for years.
Okay.
She's only been with him now for a little under a year, like 7 months.
So kind of doing the math, like, he could have cut the ex off from the kids at like the age of like 4-ish.
She was in the kids' lives since they were 1. They are 5 now. So naturally they developed a strong bond. Yeah,
kids at that age,
they don't even remember what they did last week. I don't even remember what I did last week. If I'm being honest with you. No.
Yeah, they're not gonna remember. So I think that it's, especially if he views you as being somebody that's part of the future, I think that, it's fair for you to ask of him, like, because you feel like you're going to take on a parental role with these kids. I think it's fair for you to question the relationship and also ask, like, hey,
what's up with this?
Like, what's up with this? Do you see this woman being a part of their future from now until whenever? Because if not, then we might as well just do it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. My thing with her is there's not more to the story, because I think she clearly laid it out. There is more to why the ex is in the picture. Because why does she come up in conversation? Are the 5-year-olds bringing her up? I mean, and if so, like, how much are we talking about? Like, how much do these kids see this woman? Like
that's really, what I'm saying. Like, how
like they have a mother, they have a father who's in a relationship with you. How much do they really spend time with this ex-girlfriend? Clearly, she's topic enough for you and him to be arguing about it. Are y'all arguing because he's bringing her up, or he's like, yeah, man, she just texted me, she want to come see the kids? But like, how is that happening? I question if she's around for the right reasons.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
That's it.
And also, I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way.
Uh-oh.
This is going to sound a little crazy, but it's the reality.
Say it with your chest.
It's that kids are very similar in a sense of when it comes to who they like to hang around and be around. Very similar to like dogs in a sense. That if you play with them, they're going to like you. You know what I mean? Like if you have somebody's dog and you the one that's willing to run around and throw the thing and bring it back, like with them, they're going to start to like you because they like, oh, this is the person that I know.
Give me what I want.
Give me what I want. They want to, and I feel like it's a lot of times with kids. Like I have nieces, I have like young kids around all the time, and it's like my nieces love my wife, right? Yeah. She'll sit there with the kitchen and here's the food, like, you know, and play with them the whole time. So every time, where's Auntie Bree? Where's Auntie Bree? Not saying that they don't know who my wife is or like my wife, but a lot of times kids, especially at a young age, they will associate the people that they like to the people that play with them and have fun with them and stuff like that. So I'm trying to also figure out for the age of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, like what is this strong attachment really? Like, you know what I mean? It's like you're not their mom. Their mom is actually in their life. You're not their dad. Their dad is actually in their life. So what necessarily are you providing that can't be provided by somebody else at this time?
For me, it is all about, I suspect that she has bad behavior because you can develop a bond that young. You can. But again, if it was all good like it is with the mother, you wouldn't have been writing into the show. It's something about her, at least I'm assuming, like y'all are arguing about her. She's doing more than she should be doing.
Don't you know when you say you envision things? I'm envisioning something in my head, and it may be incorrect about this situation, but I'm envisioning this and how it could contribute to the situation. So I imagine as a man, you're not with the baby mother, but you have this person that you're with on and off, on and off, on and off. And we know that could be love. It could be a toxic love though, to where it's like, y'all can't really be together all the time because it can get real messy and stuff, but it's a love there. Yeah. And I can imagine as a man, women are natural nurturers. And if you have this person around with your kids, like this person may make dinner, this person may warm up the bottles, this person may play with them while you're playing 2K or like playing video games. Like this person is there with when you're with your kids, and they are there just naturally caring for your kid, doing stuff with your kid and stuff like that. So that's what I imagine the situation kind of being. Yes. Even though it was on and off, I feel like it was more of that type of situation. So now that he's in a relationship with somebody else, I think it's now, I guess, difficult.
It's difficult for the ex.
To do that. But then also I feel like for the dude, he's having a hard time. Like, I feel like I don't say he still loves the ex, but still has love for the ex in the sense that
I don't want to hurt her feelings by taking the kids out of her life.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
There's still feelings there about like, I don't want to hurt this person. Yes. But it comes to a point of relationship where you have to, that's part of moving on, right? Is like, you have to make a decision to say like, this person that I'm with right now is the person through hell or high water that I want to be with and I'm committing to. And sometimes that may involve some ripping off of Band-Aids and some painful conversations that have to happen. We've all sent that text message or messages when you got little things, but then you take somebody serious and you like, I gotta tell this person, like, hey,
yep, it was great. This was great,
but
gotta run. I'm gonna go ahead on and head out.
The last time we'll be.
This is it.
It's not always fun. Was the last time. Yeah, it's not fun, but sometimes you gotta have those conversations. And I think at the age of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like you're not tripping for wanting him to do that or asking him to do that.
Well, I want to very specifically answer this part of her question. Should she ask him to cut ties? I do not think that you should ask him to cut ties. What I think that you should do is explain to him how this situation makes you feel and why it makes you feel this way. The examples, she does this, or she says that, or she da 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 da. If he is serious about you and you say to him, this is making me uncomfortable, she's doing this and she's doing that, and you're not seeing these things or you're not paying attention to them, and they bother me because I fear that, one, she will always be here causing confusion between us, and then two, it will confuse your children, which prayerfully will become my stepchildren. If you say all of that to him and he's like, you tripping? I don't care. You should have your answer that this is probably not the relationship for you. I don't think you should ask him to make a decision. You should tell him how you feel and watch what decision he makes. If that decision is not the one you really needed to have to feel good about this relationship, then you know what's up. I don't believe in like giving someone necessarily an ultimatum unless they are doing something very egregious.
So I disagree with you. Mm-hmm. I think you should do the explanation and tell how you feel. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking. I think that demanding is wrong. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's wrong with asking. And I think that's a thing that women do a lot.
Demand.
Don't get me in trouble. No. Because Bree does this. It's almost like testing me. Like, tell me what you want. Like, don't test me and be like, oh, well, this is how I feel. Ask. Because then when you ask, you can't say that you didn't ask. But if you are implying and telling how you feel and waiting to see, I can always lean back on that you didn't ask me to cut off this relationship.
Yeah, that's true. You can.
I can always lean back on that when I'm arguing you or talking to you. It's like, you never asked me to do it. You told me how you feel. I said I respect that and I'll think about it and I understand, but you never asked me to cut off this thing. And that's how the arguments go. But if you just say, this is how I feel, would you be willing to cut off this relationship? Or, it doesn't have to be like, would you cut off this? It's like, would you be willing, after everything I said, to cut off this relationship for the sake of our relationship?
Yeah.
Like asking something like that. I don't think that's wrong, but saying like, you need to cut off this relationship or I'm out. That I don't think you should demand, because people are entitled to do whatever they want to do.
Exactly.
You can only control yourself. If you ask and they say, no, I don't want to do that, then you have the option to leave if you want to, or if you want to stay, you can stay. That's your decision to make.
Yeah.
But I don't think demanding is the way, but I think you should ask. Like, it's fine to ask.
It is. I'm just concerned that how is he in this situation and he's not paying attention enough to be like, nah, I gotta make some adjustments. Because you said y'all are talking about your future. He wants to marry you. Y'all talked about having a family together. How is this not a priority for him when you guys are actually having arguments about it? It's clear that it's a problem and he's not doing anything to make an adjustment. He's just sitting over there like, well, I ain't gonna say nothing until she say something, or I'm not gonna make a decision on it until she says, can you please do this? I would think that he would make because it's his situation. These are your children. This is your ex-girlfriend. You need to handle it.
I used to say this to Bree, and I was like, you conveniently lie all the time. And this is when we were dating.
Okay.
And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you tell a lie that's convenient. So I know that it's lying, but it's hard to challenge it because it's like a convenient lie. So it's like if somebody says they can't go out because their stomach hurts, it's like, I know you're lying, but I can't.
Just didn't want to come.
I can't challenge. Like, how could I really?
You're right. You said you don't feel good.
Challenge you on that, on you not feeling good. It's hard. Right. I know you're lying though, but it's like I can't really prove that you're not sick or that your stomach doesn't hurt. And I think that it's the same thing with kids, is that like, it's like if you're trying to suggest something to somebody, they can kind of be like, well, you're trying to tell me how I should raise my kids or who I should have around my kids, when they really don't care. They're just using that as like their excuse to bolster their argument, but they don't actually really care about that stance. So I feel like that's what makes it challenging too, is like from her perspective, is like, you want to be like, if she says, after hearing all these things and I'm telling you all these things, do you feel like it's appropriate to have this person around? Like, after I'm telling you what I want to do with you or how I feel. And I feel like your kids are at an age to where, how you going to tell me how I should handle my kids and what age they are, and I see them. You can weaponize that thing that you really don't care about.
Yeah.
But you just bringing it up to win this argument, but it's hard to challenge it from the other side.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that the other day when somebody's
absolutely.
like, I'm not feeling well, or I'm not up
then
to.
It's like, right.
And
I can't even challenge
I can't challenge it because it's like, how do I prove that you're lying?
Yeah. My only response to that would be, no, of course I'm not telling you how to raise your children. They're not mine. I love them because they're an extension of you. But I'm telling you, as a person who you say you want to spend your life with, how it makes me feel. And if how something that you have brought into my life, you brought your ex in this situation, you brought it into my life. It was a part of your package. If I'm telling you that this part of your package bothers me, that's not about the kids. It's a situation involving the children. But no, I'm not telling you what to do with them. I'm telling you that some portion of that makes me really uncomfortable. And as the man who, a big part of your role, at least in my thinking, is to be cognizant of my feelings and protect me from being hurt, especially by you or any extension of you. You need to do something.
You know what I would probably say? I'd be like, what are your intentions with me?
If you were the man?
If I was the girl, I would ask him, what are your intentions?
Yeah.
Like, what are your intentions? What are we doing here? I can see myself like possibly marrying you and like spending the rest of my life with you. So why are you treating me like I'm the one that's not going to be here and she's the one that is?
Correct. That's it. We just going to have a conversation about it. I'm going to highlight it to you because I feel like men are just sometimes,
it's like you treating me like I'm the one who's like I'm the temporary one.
Yep.
And she's the one that's always going to be here. So, you know, we need to argue why she shouldn't be leaving. It's like, no, if you say you want to marry me and spend the rest of your life with me and I'm that person that you want to do that with, I'm the person who's going to be the constant.
That's it.
And you need to treat her like she was a placeholder or whatever, but she's not going to remain to be the constant. No, it's me.
Not when she is causing discourse. She can stay in our lives potentially if she's harmonious, mature, and focused on being a part of the village for the kid. But at the first sign, second sign, don't even let it get too far gone. As soon as I start to notice that you are doing things to disrupt or because unfortunately adults will use kids. Like they'll go and they'll tell kids to say things or do things. Like, no, once you do that, or once I get hip to that, you've lost your privileges because you're not, it's a privilege for you to be here.
For sure.
You're not the parent. This is a, you're the plus one. Like you were not invited. You were the plus one. So you can be uninvited very, very quickly if you're not acting appropriate. And this is, again, we're assuming that anonymous is not problematic, is not insecure, is not just like, you just don't want this person around because they're the ex. I suspect that she's like, her name keeps coming up. I wish you would. Well, why are we even talking about her if the kids aren't there or they didn't bring her up?
Yeah.
Why would you be bringing her name up?
You know what could be a bad thing as we're round this out? It's like, imagine if you're like, he's saying something to you and he's like, oh yeah, the kids are, you know, getting out of summer camp. And she's like, oh, I'm going to pick them up. And he's like, oh no, don't worry about it. So-and-so was grabbing them. And it's like, what? Like, I'm offering to take on these responsibilities and roles, but you're shunning me off to say like, nah, this person got it.
Yeah.
Yes. But I feel like we gave some good perspective.
I think so
and
too.
And it's good conversation. Anonymous, we hope that helped you.
We hope so too. What about the bad advice?
We have our segment now. Bad advice that works.
I'm not going.
You want me to go?
Yep.
Bad advice that works. What you need to do is contact the baby mom and get her opinion on the girl. And kind of let her know like what's going on. Like, do you know this girl that well? Like, do you understand like what she's picking up the kids and stuff? And like, do you know this shit? Then y'all team up because when it comes from the mom and she questioned like, who is this woman that's around my kids and picking up my kids?
Yeah.
Like, who is this? You get the baby mom on your side, the biological mom on your side. Now you got some ammo. And now you ain't her favorite too. So she's throwing shade on the other girl. But then she's like, you know, with you, you know, it's cool, but we got to do it in a way to where it can't really come back to you, because then the dude gonna come back to you and be like, so you was talking to my baby mother about blah blah. You just be like, no, I didn't say nothing about that. We were talking about the kids, and I said that, so and so picked them up on Thursday, and I thought that y'all didn't have that. I thought that was fine. I didn't say anything else other than that. So you need to don't use this advice. Don't do it. Don't go to the baby mother. But it's bad advice that works.
It's bad advice that works.
Would you say that would work?
Totally. Especially if it seems like, like she said, they have no issue, like the actual biological mom. So it's like, y'all team up, get shorty out of there. Okay. Literally, my bad advice was get shorty out of there by any means necessary. Okay. Like, whatever you got to do, get her out the picture. Like, get her out the picture. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about what you could do. I don't mean like get her literally out of the picture, like not alive. I mean, get her out of your picture. Okay. Like, if you got to team up with the mama, do that. If you got to get in cahoots with the kids, do that. Get her out of there. If it's taking them out more often, if it's trumping the last thing that she bought them, oh, she got you a little pink truck, I'm gonna get the Hummer version of it. Get her out of here. I'm gonna become the favorite. The kid's not even gonna remember her name anymore, because they're gonna love me so much that we don't have space for you, honey. We don't have space for you. Like, do whatever you got to do to get her out of there. The other bad advice that I was gonna say, no.
Say it with your chest. That's what you told me.
Listen, nothing works. Bad advice. Don't take this advice. Don't take this advice. Men cannot take a dose of their own medicine. They can't. They cannot. So, I don't know if you have an ex whose mom you absolutely love and really like, or a family member, or you were pretty cool with his kid and he's like, where you going? Like, oh, I'm about to go see my ex's mom. She reached out to me last week, and, apparently, he's got a lot going on and she's just really stressed. And we were really close when him and I were together. So I'm gonna go spend some time with her. Yeah. See how that makes him feel, that his girlfriend, potential future, is going and hanging out with her ex's family. Don't do that.
Don't take this advice. Either one of those advice. But
sometimes you gotta show them better than you can tell them.
No, don't.
Because if you can't see that this is a problem, well, I'll show you how it could be a problem, because now it's a problem for you.
Could it work?
Yep, it could. It could also not work. Both sides of the advice could not work.
But it's bad.
Yep.
It's bad advice.
Just saying. Go ahead, call Miss Cheryl and see how she been.
And when we say bad advice, what we mean is that we're not liable. And we're telling you not to take this.
Yes.
Legally.
For sure.
Do not take this advice.
But if you do, DM us. Let us know how it went.
DM her. Not involved. I don't know anything about it. Not an accomplice.
On the episode of Real Love Scenario, they said, call my ex's baby mama and get in cahoots with her. Let me know. Just let us know if it works. We hope this works out for you, Anonymous. I really do, girl. Because truth be told, I would be like, Joe, fuck them kids. Fuck this whole situation. See y'all. Y'all can have it.
She love that man, though.
And he love his ex. I'm sorry, the kids love his ex. The kids love his ex. Anywho, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Love Scenario. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. I'm at Ronnie Cakes.
At SJ Smith.
And of course at Relationship Restored. So much good information there. Clips of the other shows. So make sure you connect with us. And you can always write in.
Yeah.
relationshiprestored.com. Click that. Contact us. We love to hear from you. And all of the drama, whether it be baby mama or stepmama drama that you have. We'll catch you next week.
Peace out.